Hello and welcome, our blood viewers, to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top headlines of tonight. A strategic workshop on the evolution of accounting professions, financial reform, Ministry of Budget. And on the international scene, a glimmer of hope for 20,000 patients in Gaza, reopening of Rafah. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. Following the official launch of the National Week of Solidarity by the Head of State, a high-level delegation from the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity began a field tour of the country's interior regions. This morning, delegation traveled to the Obakh region, specifically to the remote locality of Ali Adde, where the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Mr. Suluf Ismail Abdo, met with the local community, notably women involved in managing their community fund. The minister also inaugurated a community center as part of efforts to improve living conditions and enhance the welfare of local residents. The Ministry of Budget today launched a new phase of its financial reform, with a workshop on the development of accounting professions. Held at the Kempinski Palace Hotel in Djibouti under the theme Training to Ensure the Success of Financial Reform, the session was chaired by the Minister of Budget, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble. The opening ceremony, which included a national anthem and Quranic recitation, was attended by senior officials across the ministry, directors general, central staff, accounting officers, regional treasury clerks, and administrators, an attendance that underlined the institutional importance of the very meeting.
On Sunday morning at the Kempinski Hotel in Djibouti, the Ministry of Budget launched a new phase of its financial reform by organizing a reflection and training workshop on the evolution of accounting professions, held under the theme Training to Secure Financial Reform under the leadership of the Minister of Budget, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble. The opening ceremony marked by playing of the national anthem followed by the recitation of verses of the Holy Quran took place in the presence of all senior officials of the Ministry of Budget, including Directors General, Central Executives, Accounting Officers, Revenue Collectors, and Regional Treasurers. This strong turnout immediately underscored the institutional importance of the meeting. The next session was devoted to the presentation of the training program for accounting officers by Professor Farouk Emisi of Paris 1 Panthéon Sorbonne University. The training was designed as a practical operational tool aimed at enabling accounting professionals to monitor the financial trajectory of public institutions in real time, anticipate financial pressures, and produce information directly useful for public.
In his remarks, the General Director of Public Accounting highlighted the importance of this training course. The General Secretary of the Ministry of Budget addressed the workshop, broadening the discussion to the entire public finance chain. He emphasized the need for a coordinated, progressive skills development process to avoid mismatches between the various professions involved in managing public funds. At the close of the session, the Minister of Budget, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble, delivered the keynote address. He affirmed that the ongoing financial reforms are not ad hoc announcements, but a considered political choice aimed at building a credible, coherent, and transparent financial administration. The minister described training not as a secondary addition, but as a central strategic instrument in the head of state's vision for effective and sustainable public service. Reactions from participants underlined strong institutional support for the reform agenda. Speakers praised the commitment to disciplined practices and enhanced accounting skills, noting that improved public accounting is essential to link political decision making with the state's financial credibility. Shifting gears, a large rally in support of the president, the UMP candidate, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Umar Gelle, took place last night at the RPP branch premises in Sheikh Musa.
As part of the presidential election scheduled for April 2026, a cultural and musical evening in support of His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, UMP candidate, was held last night in front of the RPP Sheikh Musa Annex in Balbala. The event was organized by the residents of Sheikh Musa with the support of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and Waqfs. The ceremony took place in the presence of the Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqfs, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barwe, President of the Balbala District, Mr. Muhammad Hassan Saeed, and the President of the RPP Sheikh Musa Annex. Marked by a strong mobilization, the evening brought together community elders, civil society representatives, youth, and women, all united in reaffirming their confidence and full support for the national policy led by the head of state. The event featured traditional dances, national songs, and artistic performances highlighting the achievements of the President of the Republic in his efforts towards Djibouti's development.
Head of the RPP branch of Sheikh Musa, Mr. Ghasim, warmly welcomed attendees to the evening dedicated to appreciating the programs and projects completed under the President's leadership, praising the progress achieved since the President took office and expressing gratitude for the President's decision to stand in the upcoming election. Also, the Mayor of Balbala, Mr. Muhammad Hassan, lauded the branch's activities and noted that the area youth, estimated at about 16,000, announced their full support for the President in the coming election. For his part, the Minister of Islamic Affairs and Waqf, Mr. Mumin Hassan Bare, in his address described the evening as an opportunity to showcase the branch's organizational dynamism and to welcome new activists. He renewed support for the President and thanked him for accepting to run in the forthcoming election. He cited major projects completed in Balbala such as the University of Djibouti, the National Library and Archives, and port developments as tangible evidence of political will to serve citizens and achieve sustainable development. The Djibouti Association of Pediatrics yesterday hosted the country's first national training course dedicated to type 1 diabetes in children and adolescents. Held at the Premier Hotel, the program focused on early diagnosis, initial management, and emergency care. The course brought together leading health sector figures, including the association's president, Dr. Hasina Emma, the association secretary general, Dr. Abdurrahman Mu'min, the Ministry of Health Secretary General, the Deputy Director General of the National Social Security Fund, and the President's Health Advisor, Dr. Abdullah. Frontline personnel, pediatrics, emergency physicians, anesthetists, and other medical and pharmamedical staff involved in diabetic care for children and adolescents attended standardized particular training adapted to clinical realities. Dr. Abdurrahman Mu'min, who led the sessions and initiated the national program, produced a practical reference guide for health workers managing type 1 diabetes in young patients, particularly in emergency situations. He thanked contributors and the Premier Hotel for logistical support. The association reaffirmed its commitment to training and updating type 1 diabetes management, placing workforce training at the heart of its priorities. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Muhammad Ali Muhammad, described the training as an important step forward for Djibouti's healthcare system. The program aims to improve diagnostic quality, accelerate initial interventions, and strengthen coordination across the continuum of care to ensure better long-term management of type 1 diabetes. Among children and adolescents, the initiative builds on the work of the PK12 Youth Diabetes Center, opened back in January 2021, which provides free follow-up for many young patients with support from committed partners. Under the patronage of the Ministry of Housing, the Agency for Urban Rehabilitation and Social Housing launched support works to upgrade housing in the village of Ali Adde in the Ali Sabih region.
Housing Agency Arulos officially launched on the morning of Wednesday, January 28, 2026, in Ali Adi, the Housing Improvement Support Works as part of the Integrated Slum Upgrading Project under Zero Slums program. The day began with the laying of the foundation stone for a perimeter fence surrounding the social housing complex in the city of Ali Sebieh, developed by Arulos and comprising 30 social housing units requested by residents. The fence will be built shortly with funding from Arulos. The delegation led by the regional prefect of Ali Sebieh was then welcomed by the sub-prefect of Ali Adi in the presence of the community elders, local leaders, and residents. The project aims to provide targeted support in construction materials to households affected by the severe weather conditions and storms of July 2024, enabling them to build durable and resilient housing capable of withstanding future climate hazards. A total of 435 households will benefit from this assistance. Residents of Ali Adi expressed their satisfaction at the launch of the project, praising a timely initiative that responds to their most pressing needs. They also expressed their gratitude to the government and local authorities for addressing their concerns, emphasizing that housing remains a top priority. This initiative is part of the broader series of investments carried out by Arulos in close coordination with local authorities aimed at sustainably improving living conditions in the villages of Ali Adi and Holhol in the Ali Sebieh region.
Member of Parliament Mr. Elmi and the President of the Regional Council Mr. Sharmanke Hassan Alali both delivered addresses marking the launch of the housing support works, emphasizing the project's timeliness and its response to basic needs. The Director General of the Urban Rehabilitation and Social Housing Agency, Mr. Abdurrahman Ali Ahmed, outlined the agency's targeted support, noting that 435 families will receive building materials to repair or upgrade homes damaged by severe weather in July 2024 and to build durable units resilient to future climate risks. The Governor of Ali Sebieh region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonoita, in his remarks, welcomed the initiative and highlighted the close cooperation between the agency and local authorities to sustainably improving living conditions in Ali Adi and Holhol. Reactions from residents of Ali Adi expressed relief and gratitude at the project's launch. Beneficiaries welcomed the timely intervention, thanked the government and local authorities for addressing their complaints, and stressed that adequate housing remains a fundamental need. The initiative forms part of a series of investments by the agency in coordination with local authorities aimed at sustainably improving living conditions in the area. In the early hours of January 31st, 2026, a traffic accident occurred at the roundabout in front of the dry port on the route of Venice after a heavy truck left the road. Police and the National Gendarmerie jointly recovered the vehicle and cleared it from the roadway, restoring traffic flow and preventing further risks to road users or the environment. Authorities reminded drivers to respect road safety regulations and to exercise caution, particularly when driving at night, and reiterated the importance of speed compliance and vigilance. The athletics field at Fukuzawa Middle School was lively on Saturday, January 21st, 2026, as final rounds of the School Talent Discovery Program organized by the Association for the Promotion of Physical Education in School Sport in partnership with the Ministry of National Education in the Djibouti Athletics Federation took place. Simultaneously, competitions were held in regional capitals such as Ali Sebieh, Dakhil Tajorra, and Obokh as part of preparations for the International School Sport Federation Games 2026 and the African School Games 2027. The initiative aims to identify, orient, and prepare Djibouti's best school athletes. Hundreds of middle and high school students, boys and girls, competed in endurance-focused races, 400 meters for middle school and 800 meters for high school, allowing coaches and federation experts to evaluate talent in a competitive but friendly environment. Winners and qualifiers were honored and photographed with officials. And last but not least, to conclude with the national news, on the evening of Wednesday, January 28, 2026, during border control operations on the Djibouti-Ethiopia frontier, custom officers in the Tajura region arrested four Chadian nationalities attempting to bypass the Belho customs post for unlawful entry. Suspecting drug smuggling, customs transferred individuals to Tajura Hospital for medical and physical examinations. Doctors confirmed the presence of foreign bodies inside one suspect. After surgical extraction, customs seized 29 capsules of cocaine with an estimated value of 14,500,000 Djiboutian francs. The individual and the seized narcotics were handed over to the Tajura police for refill to the investigating judge and the Ministry of Justice. The Director General thanked customs staffs, the National Police, and the Tajura Hospital Director for their collaboration in the operation. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, the Rafah crossing is set to reopen under strict Israeli supervision. More details with Hidayah.
The Rafah crossing linking to Gaza Strip to Egypt is preparing to reopen after being closed for nearly 2 years, following Israeli airstrikes in October 2023 and its subsequent destruction in May 2024. According to the newly announced arrangements, the reopening will take place under enhanced Israeli control. Israel will be required to pre-approve all Palestinian passengers authorized to leave Gaza. The European Union will oversee monitoring on the Palestinian side of the crossing, while the Palestinian Authority will be responsible for stamping exit permits. Israel will nevertheless retain a remote supervision mechanism over the entire process. Meanwhile, senior Israeli ministers have indicated that their government would like to see more Palestinians leave Gaza than return, a position that has raised serious political and humanitarian concerns regarding the implications of the crossing reopening. From a humanitarian perspective, the partial resumption of operations at the Rafah crossing represents a vital lifeline for approximately 20,000 patients in need of urgent medical evacuation, including 4,500 children. Amid the collapse of Gaza's healthcare system since the closure of the crossing, more than 1,200 patients are believed to have died due to the inability to access medical treatment abroad, highlighting the heavy human toll of the prolonged shutdown.
Well, buddies, our well viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more as usual. Have a wonderful evening and take care.